Okay, so we'll go through this one together. So a couple of people messaged me in the chat asking about how to go about this, and I would always recommend you guys message because it's quite good to see you guys engaging. But what does it say? It says the diagram shows a right angle triangle, and it says all measurements are in centimeters. Yeah. So the way you look at these questions, guys, in an exam, you take it sentence by sentence, sentence by sentence. Does this sentence have any use for me? Yeah, it's a right angle triangle. That's a piece of information. Nothing more I can see from that. So I continue. All measurements are in centimeters. Okay, not really much from that. And it says the area of the triangle is 27.5 centimeters squared. Yeah, this is very, very key. I can say area of this is equal to 27.5, right? Now they've said the area of a triangle. Well, we know the area of a triangle, right? You know, let me actually can do a proper triangle. Remember, this is the height of a triangle. This is the base. I'm writing it this way around because that's the question answer like that. The area of a triangle is equal to 1/2 times whatever the base is of that triangle times whatever the height is. Yeah? Okay. Now, what is the base and what is the height? Well, we have it algebraically speaking. The base in this case is x plus 4. So I could say base is equal to x plus 4. And then the height is equal to x minus 2, right? So we could say that, well, if I translate this into the formula, I could say that, well, the area is equal to 1/2 times the base. Remember, this has more than one term in it. So I need to put this in a bracket, yeah? So I'm going to put x plus 4 here, and then x minus 2, yeah? So we can develop an expression for the area, and this will give you a couple of marks, this point here, yeah? Now, what did they tell us about this area? They told us that the area is equal to 27.5. So I could also write as well, area is equal to 27.5, right? So remember in maths, yeah, this is very basic, but it's very key. Even I use this. Area is this, area is that. These two in blue are the exact same thing, right? What does that tell me? It means that this here in yellow and this in yellow are also the same, right? So that means I can make them equal to each other, yeah? So I could say that, therefore, 1/2 times x plus 4 times x minus 2 is equal to 27.5. Now, this is the very key part. This will probably give you 2 out of 4 marks. Does this make sense? Because this is the very key part of this question. I just want to give a couple of seconds just in case. Does everybody understand this part so far? Just give a chance for everyone to drop a message. Okay, cool. So no messages. So I'm assuming they're all on the right page. And then I will need to solve this equation. What does that equation say? It says, work out the length of the shortest side of the triangle. So we need to work out these lengths once we find out what x is. Okay, so let's continue then. Well, how do I solve this equation? Well, remember, if you think about it, this here and this here, if I expand this, I'm going to get an x squared, right? So this tells me that this is a quadratic. It's not quite clear right now, but this is definitely a quadratic equation, yeah? So what I want to do is I want to try and expand this. But the thing is here is that I have 1/2 here, yeah? So what I can do with that one is I can just multiply both sides by 2. So if I multiply both sides by 2, so times this by 2, and then times this by 2, right? Well, on the left-hand side, that half in green is going to cancel out, isn't it? Because 1/2 times 2 is just 1. So I would be left with 1x plus 4, and then x minus 2, right? And then 27.5 times 2 is a 55, yeah? And then remember, 1 is just timesing by itself, so it doesn't change it. So I can just literally write this as x plus 4, x minus 2 is equal to 55. Just going to give a couple of seconds just to make sure that part makes sense as well. Yeah? Okay, cool. Now, it may be tempting to say that, well, we can make this equal to 0 and this equal to 0. But if we look at the questions that we've been doing previously today, whenever we have it factorized, right, the right-hand side is always 0, right? And then there we can say x is 2 and x is 6. If we look at another example, where's another example that we were doing here? Here, exactly. The right-hand side, yeah, is equal to 0 again. And then we could say a equals 4 and a equals -7. So you can only find out the values directly when the right-hand side is 0. So if I go back to my question, I have this not equal to 0. So we cannot do what we would normally do. In that case, we need to expand, yeah? Expand the right-hand side. So when we expand this, we're going to get x squared times -2x times 4 and x, which is plus 4x, and then 4 times a -2 is a -8, and this is equal to 55. Simplifying this now, -2x, and then a plus 4x, right? This is going to give me 2x. So I'll get x squared plus 2x minus 8 is equal to 55. Does that make sense so far? Just give a couple of seconds. Okay. And then now we need to make everything equal to 0. So we need to move this 55 over here. Remember, this is positive. So I'm going to put a -55 here. Yeah. So it becomes x squared plus a 2x minus 8 minus 55 is equal to 0. And then we could say that x squared plus 2x, what's -8 minus 55? This is -63 is equal to 0. Yeah? Perfect. So this is where we're at. And from here, we can now factorize, right? So remember, the key thing, we look at this middle number here, which is a +2. We look at this number at the end, which is a -63. Always notice I'm always highlighting the sign with it as well, yeah? So this is a -63. So we're looking for two factors of -63, which adds, so I'll write factors here, which adds to make a +2, yeah? And does anybody have an idea of what that is? I'll just give a couple of seconds just in case somebody has an answer. If not, no worries. Okay, cool. So we can say that, what can I say? So we can say that we have a -9 here, and we have a 7, right? What does this give me? -9 plus 7 is a -2. So this doesn't work. So it must be the other way around. A 9 and a -7. Yeah? 9 minus 7 is equal to 2, right? Because remember, when I plus this here, this gives me plus minus minus, this is a 2. Yeah? So therefore, I can factorize this out like this, equal to 0. And then I can say that, well, the two factors are going to be a 9 here and a -7. So this is an x here, remember? X always goes there, and we just put those numbers in. So this will be a +9, and this will be a -7, right? So this tells me that x will equal, remember we make the bracket equal to 0 once we get here. X will equal, no, let me actually solve it so it's clear, actually. It's going to be x plus 9 is equal to 0, x plus 9 is equal to 0, x minus 7 is equal to 0. So we say that x will equal -9 and x will equal 7. So we've got two values for x. Yeah? Let me just check. I just got a message in the chat. Okay, no problem. Cool. So now we've got this so far, right? We've got our two values for x. X equals -9 and x equals 7. So now we can say, let's go to the actual question again. Oops, I've gone so far. The question was here. The question asked us to work out the shortest side of the triangle, the shortest side. And we've got two values for it, yeah? So, well, if I put this here, and then I get this diagram again, Let me just copy it here. Copy this here. Right? Well, we've got two values of x, right? But what does x represent? X represents a distance, right? So if x represents a distance, we know that distances cannot be negative, right? So we could say x is a distance. So x must be positive, right? This tells me that I can disregard x equals -9 and that the actual answer must be x is equal to 7, yeah? So now when I put that inside, well, this will give me into shape. Well, x -2, so it'll be 7 -2 here, and this will be 7 plus 4. And this is equal to 11, and this is equal to 5, right? So the shortest side is equal to 5. Does that make sense, guys? I'll just give a couple of seconds just in case anybody has an answer to that. Anybody has any questions on that? Okay, all good, all good. So we'll end the session here today. I hope this has been beneficial and you can see how the lessons are run. So yeah, what I would also say as well is I'm also on Instagram as well. So I'll just show you guys. So this is my Instagram, and I'm going to be putting up videos and lots of questions, as you can see here. So if you guys are on Instagram, you can message me if you have any questions. If you're revising, you can drop me a message and I'll definitely respond to you. So I hope that was beneficial for you guys, and hopefully I'll see you guys all again next Tuesday. Thank you very much for